Okay, let's look at Matthew 5 and 20. Matthew 5 and 20. For I say unto you that except your righteousness, these are the words of Mashiach Yahushua. He said, I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. See, our righteousness have to exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. And they were the ones that was responsible for giving over to the Romans. These religious leaders. Look at Romans 10 and 3. It says, for they being ignorant, meaning not knowing of the Most High's righteousness, and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of the Most High. And see, that's what they are not doing. They didn't want to do that. They didn't want to accept Mashiach Yahushua as the ultimate sacrifice for the sins of Israel. So they went about to establish their own righteousness, like people in these religions. They go about to establish their own righteousness. That's why in verse 2 it says, for I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge. And that's very important, because they do not fear the Most High. Those that would want to do what he say do. I mean, what's so hard about following his rules and regulations? Unless you just wicked. And he's going to deal with you in a real way for being wicked. Look, verse 10. Romans 10 and 10. For with the heart, the mind, man believeth unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. For the scripture says, whosoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed. See? We're not supposed to be ashamed we believe on him. That's what it says in 1 John 5 and 3. For this is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments, and the commandments are not grievous. We ain't supposed to be grieved to do what's right in the eyes of the Most High. Matthew 23:23. Matthew 23:23. Whoa! This is Mashiach Yahushua talking to the scribes and Pharisees. Woe, mean destruction unto you. Remember, our righteousness must exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. Well, let's go. Let's deal with this. Let's deal with Matthew 23 and 1. Then spake Mashiach Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. What do you mean by that? They're sitting, dealing with the law, to the letter. All therefore, whatsoever they bid you observe, listen to what they say. That observe and do, but do not ye after their works. Remember, we're going to be judged by our works. So don't do. Remember, he said our righteousness must exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. Now he's talking about it. But do not ye after their works, for they say They talk a good talk and do not. They're not following what they say. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders. But they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. They have men doing all these things, but they ain't gonna do nothing with one finger, he said. Have them doing all this work, but they ain't gonna do nothing themselves. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. You know, they want to be seen. That's why Most High said in his word, in Ecclesiastes, in Apocrypha 23 and 29, such a man, Ecclesiastes 23 and 29, such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Most High are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts. That's why the Most High know what they're doing. He know what these men are doing. And these spirits, we were talking about spirits coming back into the earth, these same spirits coming back into the earth, that he's saying, hey, listen what they say, observe, and observe what they say and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. Verse 4, for they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, to be carried out, and lay them on men's shoulders. But they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers, he said. If it only take a finger to do something, they won't do it. They wouldn't do it. But all their works, they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. Long garments, they have long garments. They used to have long garments. Long tails and so forth, and love the uppermost rooms at feast, and the chief seats in the synagogues, special place for them, and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But be ye not called Rabbi. Don't they call men Rabbi today? He said, don't be called Rabbi. For one is your master, that means master, even Mashiach. And all ye are brethren. But here, they want to be called master, rabbi, master. So there's one that's your master, even Mashiach. And all we are brethren. He said, and call no man your father upon the earth. Uh-oh, that cancels out the Pope. All you Catholic believers. He said, because they claim they believe in Mashiach, don't they? He said, and call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. The Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said, neither be ye called masters, for one is your master, even Mashiach. But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. The greatest among us shall be your servant. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased. So anybody want to uplift themselves to be somebody, they're going to be brought down. Whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased. And he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. So the humility going to bring about the exaltation. But when you think you all that, you want to exalt yourself, just trying to be somebody, especially here in hell that we in right now, so you're going to be brought down. So it's better to be humble, that the Most High can exalt you. Say, but woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, destruction unto you, scribes and Pharisees, he said, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. They're keeping people from coming in. And that's what's happening right now. When you look at, we supposed to be brethren, why are we so divided? Why can't we come together? Because you have these same spirits of scribes and Pharisees, the elders that put them outside of death, these same spirits that are here today, that were there then. Stop a man from coming and doing what he's supposed to do. But a real man gonna do what he wanna do. Don't care what nobody say. And women. They're gonna do what they wanna do. And not allow nobody to stop you from coming into the kingdom of heaven. So we the kingdom of heaven, the children of Israel. Say, woe unto you, verse 14, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. See? For you devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer. See, pretending, making long prayers like they someone. Therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation. So you're going to receive the greater damnation. So you got to look at all this. Remember, our righteousness must exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. He going to them. Wicked Israelites. Woe unto you, destruction unto you, scribes and Pharisees again, hypocrites. He's screaming out. Can you imagine how loud this is? Because the Mashiach Abishai went out to the sea and talked to people on the shores. Say, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye compare sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, ye make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. Wow. And see, that's how men are being influenced by these men that don't have the humility, but uplifting themselves. Next thing you know, these men are uplifting themselves. He said in verse 12, but whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. So either you're going to be abased, you're going to be brought down low, or you're going to be exalted. That's your choice. You make the choice. If you are prideful, you're going to be brought down. Pride comes before a fall. He said, they compare sea and land to make one proselyte. And when he is made, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourself. Make him worse than you. And he's saying destruction to them. So you build, they bringing people in, and they're gonna be destroyed. They worse than them because their attitude is worse. A lot of this, you look at this, because I look at this in the spirit, and a lot of leaders, the people that's under them is worse than the leader. That's what he's saying, make them twofold worse than them. Examine this. Woe unto you, ye blind guides, which say, whosoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing, but whosoever shall swear by the gold of the temple, he is a devil. You know, you're going to owe behind what it is that the gold produces, which is death. It says, ye fools and blind, for whether is greater, the gold or the temple that sanctifieth the gold. And whosoever shall swear by the altar, it is nothing. But whosoever swears by the gift that is upon it, he is guilty. We look at the go to Exodus 29 and 37. So he's really on these scribes and Pharisees. Exodus 29 and 37. 7 days thou shalt make an atonement for the altar and sanctify it, and it shall be an altar most holy. Whatsoever touches the altar shall be holy. That's why it's very important that you understand that the priests were the only ones that could really deal with the altar. That's why he said in verse 18, Matthew 23:18, and whosoever shall swear by the altar, it is nothing. But whosoever swear by the gift that is upon it, he is guilty. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater, the gift or the altar that sanctifieth the gift? Which one is greater? Whoso therefore, remember we just read about the altar. Whoso therefore shall swear by the altar, sweareth by it, and by all things thereon. That's upon it. Remember, all things that's upon it. Remember I told you at Exodus 29 and 37? And it shall be an altar most holy. Whatsoever touches the altar shall be holy. So whatever goes on that altar is going to be holy. It says, whoso, verse 20, Matthew 23 and 20. Whoso therefore shall swear by the altar, sweareth by it, and by all things thereon. And whoso shall swear by the temple, sweareth by it, and by him that dwelleth therein. Whoever's dwelling in the temple. And he that shall swear by heaven, sweareth by the throne of the Most High, and by him that sitteth thereon. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Meaning they're breaking the laws of the Most High. They're doing things contrary to what they should be doing. For ye pay tithe and mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy. You know, mercy is not getting something you do deserve. No, there was no mercy. Did they show him mercy? No. Judgment, mercy, and faith. See? They have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment. I mean, if you do something wrong, there's a judgment. Mercy, still having mercy. Remember, Masha Kawashai showed mercy a lot. That's not getting something you do deserve. And faith, belief in the truth. These ought ye have to have done. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone. Ye blind guides. A guide leads the people, but they're blind, not knowing which way to go. We're straining at a gnat. They strain at a gnat. You know how small a gnat is. They strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. I mean, he's cutting. That's why I say, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye may clean the outside of the cup or the platter. They clean, make sure the outside is clean, but within they are full of extortion and excess, reaping all the monies from the people, extorting the people. But they look really clean on the outside, speak very well, look very well, but they're extorting the people, and they have excess. It says, thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter. Clean the inside of the cup and platter first, that the outside of them may be clean also. Because inside you, if you fill of all kind of demons and madness and sin, what good is you look good on the outside? Because that's going to be revealed eventually who you are and how you're living. And that's what he's telling them. They talk a good talk, so we tell them, follow what they say, but don't do what they do. Don't do what they do, because their actions are contrary to the way you should act and be spiritually. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you. How many times he gonna say, woe unto you, destruction unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye are like